Cimoooooooo! What's going on, guys? It's Cimo, and today I have for you my October 2014 Banlist prediction video. So first off, there's two little qualifiers with my list that I want to go over. The first is that I do not touch any of the new cards out of Duelist Alliance, and the reason for that is the set just came out, and I feel like due to logic, that Konami still wants to make their money's worth with the set, and that they're not going to hit anything right now. I feel like next list they will, but as for right now, nothing in the new set will. The second qualifier is that my list kind of attempts to incorporate older decks that have been power creeped back into the game so that they have somewhat of a chance of playability. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and get right into it. So for banned cards, I have none. The reason for no banned cards is, except for one card which a lot of people want to see banned, I feel like there's nothing ridiculously overpowered in the game right now that's ban-worthy, in my opinion. So then going into the limited cards, the first one is Dragon Shrine. Now, Dragon Shrine is coupled with the fact that Dragon Ravine is at 2, or will be going to 2 on my list. The reason for this is I kind of want to bring back Dragoonities as well as Dragon Ruler, Mythic Ruler kind of decks. I think they have a really interesting matchup right now, considering they're just really strong, and then they can just, since we're in a format where there's a lot of weak monsters, and it would just be really cool, I think, to have Dragoonities back as well. So, Dragon Shrine's at 1 because Dragon Shrine's just an easy way to dump 2 dragons into the graveyard for nothing, whereas Dragon's Ravine has the potential to get more dragons into the graveyard, as well as add some to your hand. But the counter to that is it can be easily MST'd, it can be destroyed, it can be just stopped on activation. It's such an easy card to stop. Whereas Dragon Shrine, it's really hard to stop that card. So I have to put, as a balance of power, I have to put Dragon Shrine to 1 to allow Ravine at 2. Moving forward, we have Artifact MORALLTACH at 1. Now, I don't personally have a pet peeve against artifacts, but I feel like MORALLTACH is the big problem, because Sanctum is fine, because if MORALLTACH's at 1, what are you going to Sanctum into? BeagleTack? I mean, what, all the other artifacts that no one runs? So I feel that having MORALLTACH at 1 kind of solves the artifact issue. I just feel like, you know, the OCG has it at 1. I feel like we're going to kind of follow suit with that. So next, I have Soul Charge at 1. And Soul Charge is really interesting. I was thinking about having this card as being banned, but at the same time, it's like, Soul Charge can lose you as many games as it wins you. And I don't know, like, I feel like at 3, it's like it's too good, but I feel like banning it is like, I don't know. I feel like Monster Reborn is almost better than Soul Charge at 1, because in the sense, Monster Reborn can bring a monster back from your opponent's grave, you can attack with it, you know, there's all these restrictions on Soul Charge that kind of hurts it. So I feel like having it at 1, then people can just run it as a staple, and then that's that. On top of that, too, Infernities won Worlds, and I feel like Infernities make better use of Soul Charge than any other deck in the game currently. So I feel like there's an obligation to hit something in Infernities, and I feel like hitting Soul Charge would be one of the biggest hits that Infernities could take. Next we have Stratos, and boy am I going to get a lot of shit for this. Elemental Heroes Stratos coming to 1. Here's the interesting thing is, they haven't announced the hero structure deck yet for the TCG, and I feel like heroes would be really interesting right now as a meta deck. I feel like they're just missing Stratos to be able to be extremely playable. So by bringing Stratos back to 1, I feel like heroes might actually be like a tier 1.5 deck, and then once the new support for heroes comes out, they can re-ban Stratos. Then we have Super Poly to 1. Now, this is pretty much for shit-all players, and it's kind of a balance of power bringing Stratos back for the hero players. Super Poly needs to go to 1. This card is just a win condition, because it can't be, you can't respond to it. The cost is mitigated by the fact that the deck that runs it discards cards that gain effects when they're sent to the graveyard. I mean, Super Poly is just absolutely ridiculous, and I feel like that this card really has to go to 1, and it's kind of a way to kind of hurt shit-alls without really touching any of their cards that just came out in Duelist Alliance. Then the last card on the limited list is Wind-Up Carrier Zenmaity. So I feel like Wind-Ups need to come back. like, they haven't done anything since Magician went to 1. I mean, the deck, the wind-up loops are nearly... even though wind-up Hunter will still be at 3, it's so hard to pull off a good wind-up loop with only 1 carrier. Bring back Zenmaity. I mean, come on. Let's just bring back a really good archetype. So yeah, that's it for the limited cards. For semi-limited, first card, Bottomless Trap Hole. The OCG has Bottomless Trap Hole at 2, and in this current format, Bottomless Trap Hole is shit. I mean, the only deck that Bottomless Trap Hole really hurts is, like, Stellar Knights, because it's everything else is either too weak or it can't be destroyed by card effects. So I've noticed so many players are just stopping playing Bottomless altogether. So let's just put it up to 2. I mean, why not? Dragons Ravine to 2, like I mentioned, with Dragon Shrine. It's kind of a way to reintroduce Dragoonities and Dragon Rulers, stuff like that, back into the game. Dimensional Fissure at 2. With all of these graveyard-based decks, and with me wanting to introduce, like, the Dragon Rulers and stuff back in as well, I feel like putting Dimensional Fissure to 2 is really good, not only as, you know, kind of an anti-meta pick, but also for a side deck pick, so that it kind of balances out, because every deck in the game right now is so graveyard reliant, it's crazy. So I feel like putting Dimensional Fissure at 2 would just be a really good call right now. I think Macrocosmos should stay at 1, but Dimensional Fissure definitely at 2. So after that, it's really funny because I made this list the day before the OCG list got leaked. And as well as the OCG list, I have Gale at 2. Obviously enough, Black Wings have done nothing. Let's just bump Gale to 2. Again, kind of with the anti-meta pick as well. I think it would be interesting to see Gale at 2. Then we have Rescue Rabbit at 2. The OCG has Rescue Rabbit at 3, so let's just think about that for a second. And this would be interesting because it lets Evil Swarms have 2 rabbits, but then it also, combined with my double Dimensional Fissure, has a little bit of Macro Rabbit in there as well. So Macro Rabbit would have a really interesting matchup right now against the meta. So I think that would be a really cool thing to see come back to 2. Then we have Legendary 6 Samurai Shien, which, again, 6 Samurais, another deck that's done absolutely nothing. Put Shien to 2. I mean, like, debatably, Barkion or Beast is a lot more of a better card that 6 Sams can go into than Shien. So, I mean, it's just, I don't know. Put Shien to 2. I mean, 6 Samurai players, you can be happy. They have Rhoda at 2 now. Just throw them another bone. The last card on the semi-limited list is Coach Soldier Wolfbark. And the reason for this is, aside from my Fire King bias, we have Stellar Knight Altair at 3, and we have Wolfbark at 1. And Altair is ultimately way better than Wolfbark. So, I mean, I just feel Wolfbark should come back to at least 2. So, that's it for the semi-limited cards. So, and for the off the ban list completely, Gladiator Beast Bestiari, to go with everything else, Gladiator Beasts have done nothing. I feel like this card needs to come back to 3. I think that Gladiator Beast War Chariot is a really good card right now, and Glad Beast might have some potential since Battle Traps are hardly played except for Dimensional Prison. So, yeah, why not? Bestiari at 3, let's go. Dark Strike Fighter to 3, give it the errata and just make it at 3, and then when the new, the 5Ds collection comes out, it'll be in there, everyone will be happy. And then it'll also give us a level 7 Synchro besides Black Rose that doesn't suck. Well, I guess Arcanine Magician, but I mean generic. Magician of Faith to 3, it's gone from 1 to 2 to, or I feel like it should go to 3, because how many people run Magician of Faith now that it's at 2? And finally, Tragoedia. Again, same logic as Magician of Faith. Tragoedia is at 2, and no one runs it. So, just might as well put it to 3. It's just, like, why not? See what happens. So, that's it for the list. The one card I really didn't know what to do with is Vanity's Emptiness, because I know a lot of people are saying that this card's going to get hit, because it's become the format-defining card, and I agree with that. But I didn't know if this card should go to 1, if it should go to 2, if it should get banned. So I'm going to leave that up to you guys in the comments to tell me where you think Vanity's Emptiness, where Vanity's Emptiness should fit in the list. So Go ahead and leave me those comments. Also comment with what you guys think should be on the ban list, because I'm really curious to see what your guys' thoughts are. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching the video. I'm really sorry I didn't get a Tech Tuesday out this week, but exams are a bitch, so I kind of had to cancel Tech Tuesday for the week. But don't worry, there'll be one next week, I promise. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. We'll see you next time.